Hi, this is Jeff Mesnick with the CyberSecurity Journal. I am here with Stan Black from Citrix. Hi, Stan. How are you?
Very well, Jeff, and you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It's nice weather here in Boston. Where are you located?
We're in sunny Florida. I used to live in Boston. I've chosen to opt out on snow.
Ah, that's awesome. So, do you want to just tell some folks about what you do for Citrix right now?
Sure. I'm Chief Security Officer for Citrix, and my general purview is operational IT security, product security, and ensuring that our customers as well as our people are as safe as they can be around the world.
Excellent. Oh, great. So you're probably the perfect person for us to have this conversation
I hope so.
with. So, what I'd like to do is start off by asking you kind of a basic question, which is when you're talking to CEOs of, small, mid-size, or even enterprise, large companies, what are the things that you tell them that they really need to be watching out for in 2017 as we get going with this year?
Well, I'm not sure if you've been at any of the major security events recently, the RSA being the most recent. I'm noticing what I would consider to be an incredibly concerning trend, and that is that there's this expectation, or people are using the term um, at the C-suite and even in the boardroom of we should always assume we've been breached. In
Right,
my mind, this is counterintuitive and
right,
in fact somewhat ridiculous if you are essentially establishing your weak beachhead against the concept of failure. So my direction for my board and for the many customers that I talk to on a fairly regular basis is that I would look across your product family. I would ask a couple of simple questions. How have those technologies solved my problem? I don't mean told you you had yet another problem, but solved it. It was interesting as I stood on the floor one day at RSA. I looked across and the banners hanging from the ceiling. There were four different technologies there that I had removed from our portfolio because they had failed to do that simple thing to solve a problem.
huh. And so, if you were talking to the audit committee, whose job these days, I mean, they're going to be held responsible both financially, for the well-being of the company, as well as the security of the company these days. So when you tell them the softwares that they need to be reviewing and looking at, how do they measure that? How do they understand which ones to look for?
Well, I think instead of asking the question, not to change the topic, but really, do we want to look at software or do we want to look at the problems we're trying to solve? So if you spin it from that lens,
Hmm.
as an example, why do I want to have a technology like intrusion detection? Detection means that I've already had the problem.
Right.
So where we're spending our time is on the prevention side. Um, the other technology that I'm quite concerned with that found its way through many of the regulated institutions is DLP. Well, as soon as you put in a set of rules, people are putting data in, sending data via web, mail, USB, writing to other devices. There's a multitude of different ways. How do you, in fact, change that around and make it so they cannot ship the data to places and people that it does not belong? So my investment in technology is how I can take some of those risks away and solve the problem inherently.
Oh, that's great. I can see that. And that would especially work with, the cyber insurance industry, who's these days, as you know, they're heading all towards, well, what did you do to protect yourself? As opposed to saying, okay, we're going to cover you if you have these softwares. They just want you, the onus of proof is on you. And the fact that you
Right.
have those protective technologies that you're talking about would really help kind of prove your case if, God forbid, you get hacked.
Sure, and look at how if you have, I don't know if you've looked at any of the policies, because I'm now starting to see a trend, much like the assume you've already been breached mentality.
Right.
So assume you've been breached, now you go buy insurance, which gives you the false sense of security that if an event does occur, that the insurance will pay out on that issue. Well, if you start to dig deeper and deeper into those contracts, you start to see that there are they're very clear about what they cover and not so clear on what they don't cover. The term APT, or advanced persistent threat's been around for a long time.
Right.
If you were to walk up to 10 security professionals and ask them what an APT was, you would get 10 different answers. How do you buy insurance to protect against something like that?
Right. That's ridiculous. I can see your point. Well, I appreciate the time, Stan. I think we've got some great information and love to have you back and we'll talk some more.
It's my pleasure.
Okay. Well, this is Jeff Mesnick from the Cybersecurity Journal, and I'm here with Stan Black from Citrix. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate your time. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too.